Sup everybody, Dustin from My Freedom Smokes, and today I'm gonna do a little quick look with this tank I've gotten that, I've never seen before. It's the IPV sub-ohm tank. Came to me, shipped to me by, the guys at pioneer4you who make all the IPV products, but they didn't send it in a box, they sent it to us in a little bag. Obviously they probably didn't have it in a box at the time that I got this thing because it was one of the first sample versions, so, they probably didn't have the cardboard and all the fancy stuff set up for it because, in case nobody liked it, they wouldn't, distribute it or whatever, or they have their own other reasons and he just didn't want to put it in a box and send it to us. But so I don't have all the specs and like a spec sheet and all the stuff that this came with. It was just a tank with a single coil inside of here, a temperature control coil, and that's it. Nothing else, no tools, cotton, extra O-rings, anything. That's just how it came, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna come with stuff when you get it, if you guys get it. So we're just gonna do a quick look on this. Inside it came with a 0.2 coil. It's ringing it out on like a 0.22 on this, which I assume is a 0.2 because, they're not, no coil's ever been 100% accurate as to what they're saying. Well, there's probably one coil has been, but, most of the time they read up, they say it's a 0.2. It's usually like 0.18, 0.2, 0.212, 22, whatever. But this is the 0.22. I'm running it right now at 380 degrees Fahrenheit at 33.5 joules because I didn't want to burn up the only coil they sent me, so I didn't really, know what it could handle or whatever. But at those settings, it's, decent flavor. Decent clouds, and it definitely feels like it could be cranked up a bit. I'm just not really wanting to because I don't want to burn up this coil. This thing tastes amazing. It's definitely great flavor. Some of the best flavor I've had in a tank. Definitely in the top tier of flavor. Cloud production is fantastic. The tank is very nicely made. It feels very solid. The moving parts move well, move when they're supposed to. Not a lot of jingle, jangle, or rattle or anything like that. Comes with a pretty cool drip tip. It's a wide bore. You don't often get that. Usually you get some kind of a fake, wide bore or a Delrin drip tip. Oh, cool, you get a choice between an aluminum or a Delrin. Fantastic. But this thing comes out with, it's a pretty big, huge, wide bore. It's, gonna dissipate all that heat. So it's not gonna be like the vapor's not gonna be super hot, super concentrated when you inhale it. Got a nice mouthfeel. Got a nice hand feel. The device, there's no really sharp corners. I get that sometimes with tanks when they're sending to me samples. You run your hands across it and you feel like you're getting scratched. This thing doesn't have any issues with that. Nothing sharp, nothing gonna cut your fingers, especially a lot of devices I've been getting when I'm trying to take the base off. I've been getting, my fingers sliced up very slightly. Nothing like, not with blood or anything like that. Just the top layer of skin gets sliced up. Looks kind of gross, looks kind of weird. Not very comfortable. Bottom fill unit, like most things. Actually, not a bottom fill unit, top fill unit like most things is what I meant to say. It's a top fill unit like almost everything coming out now. So the benefit of this top fill is actually nothing, no air locking when you're filling it up with anything. Sometimes with these top fill tanks, you have it so that there's like just a tiny little hole in there that you just put your bottle in there and you squeeze it, and if you squeeze too fast and the air's not coming out quick enough, it just globs over. You gotta worry about with this. It's two huge slits on both sides, so you can just basically just squeeze it all over the top of this thing and it'll find its way in there. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You will have a little bit of residue, but if you wanted to, you could do that. So that was really easy. I was a big fan of that. I'm starting to love top fill. The early top fill devices that I sampled didn't work out very well for me, like I said, with that whole, juice air locking issue, but this thing seems to fix that. But, I do have juice on the side of the tank now from doing that, but no leaks with this thing out the air holes, no leaks out the drip tip. Only leak I just had was the top fill because there was juice on the inside of it and I touched it with my finger, then I grabbed the glass. But this thing seems pretty phenomenal. I don't know a price point on it. I don't know if they're expensive, inexpensive, cheap. They're not cheap quality. They do seem pretty hardy. I would put a vape band, and I do keep a vape band on this when I'm using it on my own time, because the glass is exposed and it's very exposed. A lot of tanks are starting to close that in, but you might like that. Some people want a more glass tank. I think it needs to be encaged in a little cage or something like that, because I am extremely clumsy. I am very clumsy. I drop my stuff all the time. I have not dropped this yet, but I'm probably going to drop it. So hopefully it comes with replacement glass, all the replacement goodies, O-rings, screws. I don't know what you need a screw for, but just replacement parts like most tanks do. If it does that, I would definitely recommend this tank to anyone. So take that as it's worth. Check this out if we get it. Just want to give you a heads up that this might be coming out. I'm glad to see IPV doing tanks now, because they've done a dozen box mods that I've tried, and they've all been fantastic over the years. But you know, I'm finally got my hands on a tank made by them. Let's see what they can do. Hopefully they innovate the industry and don't just give out more of the same or more old tech. So thanks IPV, and hope you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy one of these tanks one day. So with that being said, I'm Dustin from My Freedom Smokes. Thank you for vaping.